What's up, guys? Welcome back to Breakout Trading. It is September 18th, a Friday, and I'm done trading for the day and for the week. Pretty frustrating day today, especially on SAVA. Man, did I ever battle with this thing all day. Man, it could have been a great day on SAVA, but man, the thing just wrecked me today. So here you can see down 25 cents overall. I had really good scalp trades on KODK and a nice trade on Workhorse, and then gave it all back on SAVA. I think I had 3 separate trades on SAVA, and 2 of them were losers, the last one being the biggest. And yeah, so we ended the day break even because of SAVA. So that's no fun, especially when you're up on the day and you give it all back. It sucks. Anyways, I'm just going to start from the beginning. First trade of the morning was on Workhorse here. Here is the daily chart for Workhorse. You can see that ever since we broke out of this triangle pattern on the daily, we've been ripping pretty good. It's looking pretty overextended at this point. These are the all-time highs. I don't think I'd be too comfortable longing it again unless we saw a nice pullback to like a support or something. It looks a little bit overextended in my opinion. So I don't think I'd long it anymore. But today I thought, you know, it has the momentum. TTG was calling it out. Mike was calling it out. He entered this trade too. So definitely got the idea from him. Anyways, this is the 1 minute chart. We opened up here, and this 28.67 level was immediately resistance. We broke through it, flipped it as support, also above VWAP. So I decided to hop in here after I saw that we were forming support here. This is a really nice trade because I was able to manage my risk extremely tight. You can see this is the trade here when I took a screenshot during. I had my stop loss right underneath this support level and VWAP. If both of those broke, no worries, move on. And then I also noticed this downtrend line coming, so we have a bit of a TTG triangle pattern, not exactly though because the initial high of day is up here, but close enough to go for a trade. So I entered in there on 25 shares. Still keeping share size small. You know, the market is not hot right now, so just reducing my downside. And then I just sold it there into that pop at the high of day. And there's no point scaling out because I only had 25 shares, so it was just a little scalp trade for 875 there. And as you can see, the stock definitely chopped around a bit after that trade, but then ended up squeezing higher into the close. So overall, good trade, good setup, happy with it. Yeah. And then the next one was SAVA. So, man, SAVA messed with me today hard. So the initial thesis here on SAVA was playing off the daily. So this is the daily chart here on SAVA. You can see that on Monday we popped up. This is our first kind of gap up after a bit of a consolidation throughout the summer. And then we popped up here, and the high of this candle was 841. So I marked that as a resistance. We came down and tested this 660 area support, and then today we gapped up once again. So I knew that this high here was potential support there at 841. So in the morning here on SAVA, I marked out 841 and 850 just because that was the area we were messing with pre-market, and it was around 841. So I figured this sort of range here would be our support potentially. Let's go down to a 1 minute for this because it happened really quick. It'll make more sense in my analysis when I go to it. So I was watching this one on the open, looking for the long. And like I said, I knew that 841 level was going to be potential support. So anyways, we open up here. We're below VWAP, chopping around. We come down, and I was just like, okay, let's see now if this can act as support. And then I literally looked away for like 1 second, and we blasted up here to almost $9. So like a 40-cent move in like literally it was 1 second. And I was like, oh, damn it. You know, that was my entry down here. I wanted to buy through the break of VWAP. Tried to wait for it to come back down, and it just didn't really. You know, it's easy to say now I should have bought that first pullback there, but At this point, I was like, okay, I think I just missed my trade probably. It might just chop around. You know, it was looking weak around VWAP, so I went elsewhere. And, you know, it obviously ended up holding. But this was the initial morning trade here, was that bounce off 841, and I missed it, which really sucked. But the trade I did enter was at 12.11, so I didn't take any more trades all morning other than that workhorse small trade. And I noticed that SAVA was strong pretty much all morning. Didn't chase this move at all. And then I saw that we were kind of forming like a bit of this ascending wedge pattern. So I definitely didn't want to touch it. Plus we were coming up to this $10 resistance here, which on the daily chart is, you know, the highs up here is at around 10.18. So $10 was going to be resistance for sure today on SAVA. So I was like, okay, it looks pretty weak. Didn't want to touch it, and then it ended up breaking down from this this rising wedge here. And then just freaking SAVA, this just gets worse and worse. So at this point, I actually did this. I wrote this, took this screenshot and wrote this note to myself. Not going to take this bounce off VWAP trade. This worked in June, but my prediction is a very weak bounce, a break through VWAP, and a continued sell-off all day, especially we are at a range high on, especially because we are at a range high on the daily chart, like I just said there, resistance up there in the $10 area. So also it was 11 a.m. So like this just goes to show, this is a perfect example of the kind of market we're in right now. So normally that is a trade I will always take, is the bounce off VWAP trade. Like in hindsight, why the hell did I not take this? It's a perfect setup. If you take a measured move from the initial high of day, or yeah, the high of day at that point, look how nicely it lines up with VWAP. So we have this previous resistance, now support. We have VWAP and the 23.6 all converging right at that $9.40 to $9.35 area. A 5-cent area of those three converging, and I didn't take this trade. So then, after I wrote that stupid thing, like I don't even know why I did that. Like I should have taken this trade, basically. But that just goes to show how normally I would be a market participant in this trade, but I stepped back because I didn't trust that it would hold. So that just goes to, that's a whole like broader picture, because if every person isn't trusting supports and is taking profits quickly, it really does make a difference when every person is kind of thinking, okay, this isn't going to work or this is going to break down. It makes these small caps super weak when everyone's thinking that. So missed an excellent trade here. And then I was kind of pissed because I was like, oh, well, this thing is strong. Okay. So at this point, I knew that we had all this resistance up here, and we were coming up there pretty quickly, honestly. So as soon as we broke past this kind of pivot here, I got long 25 shares here with a plan for this thing to make a new high of day. So we ended up continuing a bit. We actually made a new high of day there. So the previous high of day was 113, and we made a high at 123. So I thought for sure this thing was about to take off. I thought we were probably going to do something like this. Break this high at 10.18. Come up, test $11. That's where I was going to take a piece of profit. And then look at over top of 11 here. So there's this high at 11, this high here from 2018, a bit of a wick here, but then other than that, we have some definite room all the way up to like $12.80, $13. So that was the idea, is this level breaks. I'll take away the wick, that will make more sense there. So this is the idea here. This level breaks and we go up into this sort of this pocket here. And I honestly really thought we were about to rip. Like the tape looked good, the movement of the stock looked good, everything was lining up. The volume was coming in, and then we just faked out. And I was forced to stop out down here below. My stop was below this pivot low here, a low of 963. We ended up breaking below that, and it stopped me out there for a decent size loss. I think like $7 or $8. And honestly, I was pretty pissed because I'd missed my morning trade at that point. I somehow faked myself out on this VWAP bounce trade, and the one breakout trade I go for fails, so I was kind of upset. And then to make things worse, as soon as I stop out, we start to hold support on this level, so I get long again. And at this point, I was trading with emotions because at this point I was kind of just pissed at the stock itself, and I wanted to kind of like make my money back from the stock in a way, which is a very dangerous way to trade and something that you should never do. But anyways, I got long here, and I think this might be it. Oh no, that's the third one. So yeah, there's more than two. Got long here again. Stop loss was below VWAP, and I think below this level as well. And this thing rocketed up once more, and then once again hit some resistance and started to sell off. So I tried to give this thing a chance, and then you could even see this is my final analysis of it. We started to form some higher lows, and I was like, okay, now this thing is looking good. It's looking like an ascending triangle. You know, we're going to break this high. We're going to shoot up to 13. It's going to be great. And I took it there because I was worried we were going to sell off again. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to hold off. This thing's looking like it's coiling up at this $10 area. I'm going to buy the breakout. I won't be any trades till then. So this trade, this winning trade here to here, kind of mitigated this loss. So I was like, okay, I'll just wait for the breakout trade. We end up breaking below this uptrending support, finding support of VWAP, going below VWAP. It's a very choppy stock, and this is just sucks, man, that this is the market we're in, but it's just, it is what it is. Held VWAP, and then we're curling up again, and I'm like, okay, this is the one. This is the time we break this resistance. So you can see the volume ramping up. This is it. This has got to be it. We come up, we wick above, and I'm telling myself, just wait for this to break, you know, wait for it to act as support before you get in. And then, but like, look at the volume, you know, the volume's great. We're seeing a pullback, great bottoming tail there. Like, this looks like almost an A+ setup, honestly. Range breakout, and then like, boom, we break out. I get long there for 25 shares. And I think I have it for sure. This is honestly an A+ setup. Any day of the week, I would take this setup. A huge range, a couple like days in a row trading on upwards, and then something, you see something like that happen. Like, that is a A+ setup. It's breaking out of this range with volume. No complaints here, but it was just one of those times that it just didn't work. And we got rejected and sold off hard. And I was forced to stop out here. And the reason my stop loss was there was because on that final attempt upwards, there was a pivot low here on the 1 minute. So I had my stop loss below there. You can see we barely got down. We held a bit of support there, but eventually we broke through and I was stopped out. And at that point I was down 15 on the stock, and I was honestly really upset because I was just like, I missed my morning trade. I missed the VWAP bounce play. I got faked out once. Like, I guess this was a winning trade, and then faked out twice. So this thing I just botched the execution on. It didn't even end up breaking out. You can see it's still below that level. So it'll be interesting to watch next week, I guess. But man, just frustrating day on that. So that's all the trades for SAVA. I guess I'll go over KODK now. I'm not really going in chronological order anymore, but that's all right. Yeah, so I had to step away from my computer after that last trade. I was honestly just pissed because I risked everything I made today. I risked my like $16 that I made on these two. I was risking it for the biscuit kind of thing, which I guess is my fault. But I was like, okay, looks like it really wants to squeeze. We're going to end the week with like a $25, $30 green day. Head into next week doing great. But that's just not what happened. It's all right. We're still break even on the day and up on the week, and we didn't have any big losers. I think that all three of those trades on SAVA were good setups. We just didn't see any follow through. Anyway, so KODK here, I noticed that we were totally coiled up into this descending triangle pattern here, and around lunchtime we broke out, and this is during the SAVA trades. I went over all those SAVA trades first, so these aren't in chronological order anymore. They kind of happened in between each other. So broke out here. We were holding above VWAP, decided to take a stab here on a pullback to VWAP with 25 shares, and Kodak is a very volatile stock. So I was very cautious about this one. I also don't really trust Kodak after it's ripped to freaking $60. It's a very volatile stock, and there's tons of bag holders. But anyways, the thesis on this one was Wednesday we had a bit of a gap up, Thursday green day, and then today we are using these two levels as support. So same daily setup as SAVA, where early in the week we had resistance, and then now it's acting as support. And the chart's kind of messed up because of these big candles, but there's actually kind of a gap up here over top of this $11.50, $12 area. There's a gap up to, like, if you can see that, up to like $14, $15 ish. So it was a good setup. It definitely had some legs on it today. Yeah, so anyways, we're long here at VWAP, and can't remember where my stop. I think my stop loss was right down here, below 11. I wanted it to be, so it was at like 10.95 or something. We pull back a bit, then get back above VWAP, and I just sold on a pop here because I wanted to get out before this resistance in case this was a fake out like everything's been lately. But it wasn't. We made like $5-6 bucks here, and then I went to go trade SAVA. You can see that's why I sold, because we're having tons of these where it just blasts right through VWAP, which it's normally supposed to be support, but it's just, and like no volume either, right? So that's why I sold out. Just these stocks are just so choppy right now, very unclear. We end up actually making it past this level, and we are up at the high of day near the end of day. So this is one of the last trades I took now, and basically I wanted to play off that $12 level, seeing it act as support. So when we were up here and it looked like this, I just had an order out there for $12. Price blasted down, filled me there, and then luckily it held as support for a bounce. I sold up here. After, actually, this was kind of cool, and you can see it actually made a difference, I guess. I actually sold here because I saw a massive order on the level 2 pop up. It was 4 digits, and I think that's got to be like over $1 million, because this is like multiplied by 100, I think. So yeah, it was a massive block of sell orders came up, so I instantly got out there, and you can see that was kind of the local top for a bit, which was a really nice little scalp sell. And then eventually we pumped through that, and kept holding that $12 area as support, and we ended up rallying sort of into the close, and then once again not much squeeze continuation. So that was like, you couldn't really have done much with that either today, man. Like, these things are just brutal. Yeah, and then I guess that was pretty much it. And then I took this, and then I took the last SAVA trade, this one here, where, man, like, just, I don't know, like, you guys comment down there, like, I think that this looks like an absolute A+ setup, breaking past all these resistances. It ranged all day. Boom, volume's coming in. I thought for sure this was going to be a winner, but that's why it's always important to manage your risk, because even the stocks that you're almost sure are going to go up can surprise you. Yeah, so that's it. I might do a video soon on my journey as a trader and like my P&L curve, but we'll save that for another video. This was just today's recap, end of the week. Frustrating day, especially just from SAVA, missing this first trade, missing the VWAP bounce, like just stupid mistakes and hesitation, just messing me up. So anyways, guys, that's it. I'm going to keep an eye on SAVA next week, although the weekend usually kills momentum, so probably be something new next week. Anyways, we're up $9 on the week net, including commissions, so that's not too bad for, like, whatever. At least I'm not taking losses. I think I'm definitely getting better at better trading. So that's it. Hopefully momentum will finally be back once it gets more wintry. And yeah, see you guys Monday.